Success in the NBA is not easy. It takes a lot of planning, groundwork, and sometimes even luck. After years of struggling, the Timberwolves' hard work is finally paying off, and it looks like they are in a position for a successful future. They have assembled a squad ready to buy into their culture and invest in their growth. However, even looking at this team today, they're already giving us a taste of what's to come with how well they're playing this season. Let's take a look at the Wolves and how they've been a pleasant surprise this year. The Minnesota Timberwolves surpassed a lot of expectations, and this has been their best season in recent years. They're currently 7th in the Western Conference, and they're a strong contender for a playoff spot. To give you a perspective of how big their turnaround is, last season, they missed the playoffs and ended just 13th in the West. It can also be seen in their tremendous improvement from both sides of the floor. Last season, they were near the bottom in both offensive and defensive ratings. This year, they're 6th and 13th in those categories, respectively. A lot of people predicted that they'd show improvements this season, but nobody expected that they would be this good. The Wolves organization deserves a lot of credit for putting together a roster with players that fit with each other, both on and off the court. They have great chemistry, and there's a sense of camaraderie within the team. Locker room issues played a role in their struggles these past few years, so this is a breath of fresh air for the franchise, and it's a great starting point heading towards the future. This is clearly visible with the way Karl Anthony Towns is thriving this year. Towns has been the face of the franchise for quite some time now, but it looks like this has been the most fulfilling season he has so far. Not only is his team on track to have their best season since he arrived in Minnesota, but he's also finally surrounded with teammates that maximize his strengths. He's averaging 24.7 points, 10 rebounds, 3.7 assists on 53% efficiency. Towns is the perfect example of a modern center, an agile big man who can dominate paint while stretching the floor. He's shooting 40.7% from beyond the arc this season, and for a center, that efficiency from deep is ridiculous. He's not just a great shooter for a big man, he's a great shooter, period. In fact, he emerged on top and won the three-point contest during the All-Star weekend last February. The only other big men to achieve such a feat in NBA history was Dirk Nowitzki and Kevin Love. That's an elite company right there. He even went ahead and said that he's the greatest big man shooter of all time. A lot of people disagreed, as many of them believe that the title still belongs to Dirk. However, what's undeniable is that he is on the same tier as Dirk when it comes to that category, and that in itself is an impressive achievement on its own. Despite this, it's without question that he's currently the best big man shooter in the NBA today. There are a lot of centers today who can fire from deep, but when it comes to stretching the floor, Towns is in a class of his own. This gives him an advantage over his defenders, as he can use this to neutralize rim protectors by drawing them away from the paint and out of their comfort zones. Most big men are not agile enough to defend the perimeter, which means he can easily exploit their defense by simply showing off his range. As a passer, he's not elite by any means, but he's good enough to dish it out to open teammates whenever he needs to. And if you combine this with his ability to pull the opposing center away from the basket, he can make it easier for his teammate to attack the rim. In this play, Noel makes the basket despite the double team because the shot blocker was busy defending Towns at the perimeter. It looks simple, but this helps the Wolves create open shots in the paint. Aside from his three-point shooting, he's also one of the most versatile centers and can score anywhere from the floor. This is how he dropped a career-high 60 points against the Spurs on March 14. He dominated the entire game, and the Spurs could not stop him. He made buckets after bucket, both in the paint and from downtown, where he drained 7 three-pointers, leading Minnesota to a 149-139 win against San Antonio. Towns continues to prove why he's one of the best centers in the league today. The best part is that his prime is just starting, and he'll be able to bring more achievements both for his team and his personal career. Another bright spot for the Timberwolves is Anthony Edwards. He's one of the most exciting young guys in the league, and he's showing us why he was the #1 pick in 2020. He was already phenomenal even in his rookie year. And yet, he came back even better, averaging 21 points, 3.7 assists, and 4.7 rebounds. Take note, he's putting up these numbers as a 21-year-old. Most fans were expecting that he's going to be a big part of their future, but Ant is proving that he's a formidable player even today. Last year, there were some concerns about his shot selection, especially at the three-point line. He's one of the most athletic young players in the league today, and he has all the physical tools to dominate the paint. So it doesn't look good whenever he settles for a three instead of attacking the rim. Fortunately, Edwards is coachable and is always willing to learn. This year, his game looks more polished and his shot selection looks better. And is showing that he's learning how to make the most out of his athleticism. Just take a look at how he explodes at the rim and throws down a nasty jam over Vincent, followed by the stare down. This kid is an absolute monster when it comes to attacking the rim. Here's another where he explodes off the transition for a monster dunk. Even his three-point shooting improved, and he's now dropping 35.6% from deep. It's still far from an elite number, but it's a significant bump from last year's 32.9%, and he still has a lot of time to work in that aspect of his game. If he's already this good today, just imagine what we'll see from him once he reaches his prime. He has the potential to be an all-NBA caliber player, and he can even reach the MVP talks one day. Speaking of improvement, D'Angelo Russell is probably having the best year of his career so far. At first glance, it might look like D'Lo dipped in terms of his basic stats, but if you take a look at his game, he's never been this much better as a facilitator and playmaker. He's making a transition from score-first point guard to someone capable of being the floor general. D'Lo can still be a good scoring option when he needs to, averaging 18.3 points, but he has shifted his focus in creating shots for his team. He's dishing out a career-high 7.1 assists per game, and he's also doing it efficiently with just 2.6 turnovers. Many people criticize him for being an empty stat star, someone who can put up great numbers but unable to help his team win. D'Angelo is proving that he can be the type of point guard who elevates his team. He doesn't usually do a lot of fancy things when he creates for his team, but it's the small but smart decisions that allows him to set up easy buckets for others. Take a look at how D'Lo notices that the entire Kings defense is too focused on the pick and roll, so he makes a well-timed assist to Vanderbilt, who's left unguarded. And here, he shows how good his court vision is with his beautiful pass to a wide-open McDaniels for three. Plays like these just show how vital he is to the Wolves' offense and why he's flourishing in his new role. He's still a walking bucket, but his ability as a playmaker is something his previous coaches failed to tap in before. Timberwolves head coach Chris Finch saw D'Angelo's potential in this area, and he did a wonderful job in maximizing it. But even beyond that, Finch worked hard in developing a system that helps his players blossom in the roles given to them. The team culture he established can be reflected in the manner with which the Wolves win their games. They're playing an unselfish style of basketball, and they're moving the ball extremely well, placing them 7th in assists with 25.5 per game. This is what allows them to have the highest scoring average in the league at 115.4 per game, which is an indicator of how smooth their offense is. Aside from being unselfish, they're an extremely disciplined team, and it's shown in their effort and hustle. They have the fastest pace in the league, and they rank 3rd in second chance points. This kind of effort on offense is what every coach loves to see from their team. On top of this, their hustle can also be seen on the other side of the floor. Minnesota ranks 3rd in blocks while being 4th in steals per game. Every single one of these ratings and metrics shows us that the Timberwolves are heading in the right direction. Their turnaround is a result of their hard work and good decision-making. Everyone from this franchise is currently on the same page, from the players to the coaches and even the management. If they can continue building up their core players while surrounding them with pieces that fit the system, they have a potential to be a dynasty in the West. What are your thoughts on the Timberwolves? What do you think will be the ultimate X factor for this team to take it to the next level? Let us know in the comments below. If you guys want to see another team who has been slowly on the rise, be sure to check out this next video.